We are still looking at our subtopic, which we call change. And previously, we last looked at reasons why people resist change. Yes, you bring in change, but people show you that they do not want change. I looked at some of those reasons, and one of them being stubbornness, it being costly, where we find change benefiting others while hurting others, among other reasons as we saw. Today we are now looking at the steps involved in the change process. Steps involved in the change process. If you want to change, if you want change to take place, what are those procedures? What are those processes? What are those steps that can be involved when we are to realize change? So when you look at steps in, these steps can also mean procedures, processes, among others. So I want to see what are the procedures, the steps being followed or involved when we are looking at the change process. And remember, any question that is requiring the processes, the procedures, the steps, our answers should always be chronological. In other words, our points follow each other. Our number 1 to number 5 should follow the way, should follow themselves the way they are. So if you begin with implementing the solution and making a follow-up, you will be wrong, because you have begun with number 5 instead of number 1, which is understanding the situation within which the business is moving, within which the employees are getting involved in production, in marketing, and other business activities. So these are the steps, as we have said, they need to be followed one at a time. That's why we said that they are chronological. And when we talk of chronological following of points, we want the first point to come, and the second point follows, the third point next, until we come to the last. So now we are looking at number 1, understanding the situation, and this involves analyzing the driving force. So our key word or words is the driving force. What is making you think about change? In other words, why are you changing? Do you have reasons why you are changing? If you have the reasons, it means you know the situation you are in. Because now, when you understand the situation which you are in, it means you will either decide to change towards where you want to change to, or you will decide not to change, because you'll be understanding the situation or situations you will be in. So that's why we're saying it involves analyzing the driving force, the driving reason, the real reason why an individual, the business is changing. If you are changing from production of a given commodity to production of another commodity, the question is, do you understand the situation within which your business is moving? Do you know why you are changing the commodity to another commodity? If you are changing the shape, do you know why you are changing the commodity shape? If you are changing the color, do you know why you are changing the color? If you are changing the size, do you know why you are changing the size? If you are changing business location, do you know why you are changing business location? In other words, whatever change that you want to get involved in should always be understood by you before either taking up that change or not taking up that change. That's why we say in the first place, understand the situation, analyze the driving force, the reasons why you are changing, and later on the effects to the business in terms of production, in terms of market demand, and it could be either in the long run or in the short run. So we understand the effects of this change to the business. If you don't understand the effects, means you don't know why you are changing. So after understanding the effects, you will either continue changing to where you are going, or you will say no, because these are the effects that will tell you that please continue or please do not continue. So number 2 is defining the problem. Can you tell us the problem? Can you tell us, or tell yourself the problem? Do you know the problem? Do you know the activity you are going to involve in? Because when you talk of a problem, you may look at it as a negative thing. No, the problem can be positive, though we are looking at it as a problem. If that's why I was asking, if you are changing the shape, do you know why you are changing the shape? In other words, changing the shape from this shape to the other shape. Changing the color, it means there is a problem. It means there is some kind of thing that you want to change, as the name suggests. So, do you define the problem? Can you tell us what the name of that problem? Can you tell us the reason why you are changing? And this involves identifying the need to take some kind of action. Before you take an action, can you ask yourself why you are taking the action? When you are buying a shirt and you want white, do you know why you are buying white? If you cannot buy white, do you know why you need black? It means you have gotten the problem, you have defined the problem as a problem that cannot make you look after the white shirt. You cannot manage to wash it. That's why you are changing from white to black, because black can allow you to put on that particular cloth for more than once. So that is the defining of the problem we are talking about. So now we want to see another step, another procedure, another process that is involved during the change process. And another one is finding alternatives. This involves carrying out research to come up with realistic alternatives and find out their potential costs. Alternatives. What if this one fails? Because we have got very many things to do in business. We have got very many changes we can make. But now, before making all those changes, do we have the alternatives? Can we find an alternative? That what if this fails? If you are moving up with, for example, something we are calling X, and are you aware that you may fail to get X? Are you aware that X may fail you? And if X fails you, what next? Do you have Y that you will go to? Because you may say, I want to produce a product, and I want to produce a product of color white, of color gray, of color blue. But do you know the consequences of these colors as far as your product is concerned? Are you sure that the customers will need these colors, depending on the nature of the product? If you produce a given color of a product and customers do not accept it, customers do not demand it, do you have another alternative, or you will close the business? Do you have another alternative, or you will close the business? That's why we are saying find an alternative just in case. Find an alternative just in case. Therefore, we move to our second last procedure, our second last step, which is selecting a course of action. Selecting the best action that best fits your goal, your objective, and your capacities. Because we'll be looking at this. You have taken an alternative. After taking an alternative, it means you will select that course. What next? What next? Selecting a course of action. As far as change is concerned, so after deciding that I'm going to change towards this, then it means you are selecting a course of action. And you'll be knowing how you are going to benefit from that action, from that course. Because we are saying you must select something that will best fit your goals, your objective, and your capacity in terms of production, in terms of all the activities that are going to you are going to involve yourself in when it comes to production of that particular commodity. A goal can be long run, can be a long term, and for you to gain this goal, you must have gained the objective. And it means after gaining the objective, your business goal can be achieved. And then it will mean that for you gaining the objective and the goal, you had the capacity to change into what you wanted to move to. So we are selecting a course of action, and of course we said you select the best because you expect to benefit much from it. Otherwise, if you don't select the best, don't expect to get your positive proceeds when it comes to the end of the trading period. The period that you will involve yourself as regards production, marketing, and receiving of proceeds is concerned must realize its set goals. So that's why we say you have got very many alternatives which you must select one, and of course that one should be able to make you benefit, to make you achieve what you want to achieve at the end of it all. Then lastly but not least, implementing the solution and following the action that you took and the effects after making a follow-up. The effects can be positive, can be negative, to see whether the problem has been solved. What does it mean? It automatically means that after making an alternative from very many, you have to make a follow-up. Is the choice made benefiting the business? Is where I changed it to where I was supposed to change it to? Because change is inevitable, as we said from the start. And change is today and tomorrow. Don't say that you are changing today and you will never change. No, you cannot prohibit change. Change is today, it can be tomorrow, next week, next year. So long as you realize the need for you to change. So that's why we said after making alternative, make a follow-up to see whether the reasons why you changed have been met. So these are some of the steps involved in the change process. So we are going to look at criteria in the next session, and we'll see what next.